Okay, so if you're watching this video first and you haven't watched my previous video on the Confederate playthrough of Chickamauga, I recommend you go watch that video first, at least the first 10 minutes, because in the first 10 minutes I talk about the scenario and the strategic aspects of this specific scenario, and I cover both sides, basically the whole thing. So I'm not gonna, well, I'm gonna try and not repeat myself from that. So yeah, if you're just coming to this video first, go watch that. I'll put the link below. Okay, we're now continuing on. So what we're doing here first is that I'm gonna just pretend that the rebel player is not AI. So I immediately move one of my divisions across the river and to prevent the Confederates from blocking that junction, so that now I'm free to maneuver. It's possible to do this because the AI will move Hood's division or Hood's core, one of the divisions from Hood's core first, that's coming off the map. The AI usually defaults to move that division. So the moment they activate that first gives us the Union opportunity to block that. So now the road is open. The Confederates aren't able to interdict the roads that are further to the right there because the HQ is in the center. They can't move their units further away from the HQ. They have to gravitate towards them. So we're good now. The overall strategy for the Union, just to repeat myself a little bit, is to flank around the left side. Want to secure the railroad, envelop the left side of the Confederate army. If you're looking at the map here on the screen, and we can afford to do this because we're already in between the Confederates and their objective. They need to secure the road that's already in the middle. The Union already starts with this position where they're already denying the Confederates their strategic win condition. So yeah, we just need to maneuver all our forces that are coming off from the right here and try to get them deployed to the left as quickly as possible. We're not going to be able to enact the envelopment right now. All we're doing now is just preparing for the next turn when we can redeploy the HQs. And let's put the HQs in maneuver mode and then start doing some proper maneuvering across the board. So yeah, the other things is the Union is that you want to try and save your detachments because otherwise the Confederates can snipe them and get victory points. The leftmost detachment that's out in the open trying to that's positioned across that road where there's a crossing, right where the Confederates have now just deployed their cavalry. That's the one that you can save. The only way you can save that is through good die rolls. The one on the right, you can easily get in either by using Wilder's division or bringing up one of the further reserve divisions on the that are coming off the map on the right there. I didn't really pay much attention to Wilder's division, which moves like a cavalry when it's in maneuver mode. So it's a very mobile infantry division. Um, in the subsequent playthrough that I didn't record, what I decided to do was I decided to use Wilder's division as more of a assault force. And instead of relieving that detachment that's in the middle there with Wilder's, I use a normal infantry division. But yeah, we can discuss that another time. But right now, what's important is that we maintain a screen across the Chickamauga River right here. We're gonna make sure that Confederates don't push in because we still haven't deployed our boys off to the left here. We still need to do that, which is gonna be very easy. There's no way that the rebels can really force a major action this early on the first turn and make significant progress to do that. So yeah. You know what? I might be wrong. It might be in this replay here that I start doing some stuff with Wilder's division. Yep, it is. This is the... Because I played like 3 games as the Union yesterday, and we're all back to back. Some of the things are blurring, and the things I'm talking to you now is all the stuff that I've learned after playing all 5 rounds for both Confederates and the Union. But yeah, okay. So we're maneuvering that, trying to get these guys moved up here. We can afford to use this road that I'm using because the Confederates haven't pushed closer to the river yet. Otherwise, they'd be exerting zone of influence, and they'd force us into battle formation. Yeah, okay, that's our screen right there. So those three infantry divisions that are about to array themselves across the river, those are our main screening force. And now the rest of the turn is just going to be spent trying to get the guys off the right to concentrate in the middle. So I'm going to skip ahead here. Okay, so at this point, you can see we're concentrating. We want to get all of our guys as furthest to the left of our HQ counter radius, so that the next turn we don't spend any movement points still trying to maneuver from the right to the left. We're immediately ready to go in the next turn. The rebels have already got stuck in. They're engaged across the river there. We couldn't prevent one of them from crossing, but it's an open hex, so open terrain hex, so I'm not too concerned about that. I'm quite okay with Hood's core coming down and immediately attacking across the river. I'm not concerned about that at all because we're about to get like a 2-to-1 numerical mismatch on that flank on the left side here, so we can deal with them in the next turn. Ideally, any kind of real fighting that we want to do it before turn 4 and then on turn 5. Basically, turn 4, we do not want to do any serious fighting. It's all the turns before, so 1, 2, 3, and then 5. On the first turn, obviously, we're not going to do any of that because we're just trying to maneuver everything. But yeah, that's another kind of aspect of this scenario where it's the timing that you need to get right because of all the different changes in HQ commands and yeah, basically that. The Confederates do get the off-map reinforcements of cavalry come in on turn 4. You can see the red number 1 on the turn 4 marker, but I haven't seen, well, I don't really see it being that big of a factor in the scenario. I don't think there's much that you can really do with it. Could be wrong, but that's the way I see it. So I'm gonna skip forward a bit here. Okay, so what happens here is that we got lucky. The detachment on the left side gets recalled, doesn't get eliminated. But then what's going to happen here is that this fight here, they attack us. They have a +1 die roll modifier in favor of them. We commit everything that we have as well, but we get pushed off basically. We retreat. And what happens then is that the detachment that we try to relieve on that hex gets cut to pieces. So even though we saved the detachment, which I always said is the one that's most likely to die, didn't happen here. But the situation we ended up in is exactly the same. The Confederates have 1 victory point on the board. And there goes that. So we're on to turn 2. Rolling for redeployment. We get lucky. The Confederates remain. HQ remains on the board in battle mode, but ours gets to redeploy and to maneuver. And now, yep, pushing it as far left as possible. We're going to use our detachments here to try and prevent the last division that the Confederates have at the back there. For what I've seen is that this is a scripted part of the scenario, at least in most of the playthroughs that I've made. That lone division from Hood's Corps that's at the back there always goes there and then stays there. And this is important because we need to knock that division out because it's cutting the railroad. It's the only thing preventing our strategic win condition. So this entire turn and the turn after this is just us moving the bulk of our forces up the left side, past that ridge, and then trying to knock them out. I disengaged there because I want to pull the divisions back to reform the line on the river. Just make it a little bit nicer, easier to see and hold. Confederates push their infantry division forward. They're now fixed on our side of the river, but it's not too much of a concern. They're in the open terrain hex, and we're still in defensive terrain. And now we start the mass movement. You need to double back a little bit there because the junction is further to the south by 2 hexes. And once you go there, you can use the roads to go around the left side. I'm going to skip a little bit forward here to where we get to the main movements. Okay, so we get quite a lot of folks moved up on the left, but we run out of turns because the Confederates passed very early on. So it's only going to be in the next turn where we're going to properly push forward. We've already got a division up on the ridge and another division that's already behind Hood's Corps. So, yep, we'll move on to turn 3. So on turn 3, we've put our HQ marker, which is kind of behind the Confederate lines now. And now I'm thinking about putting detachments. The reason why I'm putting the detachments here is just to pretend if the Confederate player was trying to do something fancy, we'd have a good position to hold on the ridge there if they tried to disengage and reform to counterattack our attack. But of course, that's never going to happen. But it's good practice anyway. So you can see that lone division there hasn't moved, and they won't move it. So I had ideas before to like try to bait them out of there by putting divisions really close to them on the ridges, but so far I've never quite seen it play out. So we're just gonna encircle them with whatever we have now, and then have at it. I'm gonna skip forward to the attack phase. So yeah, we're managing the encirclement now. Yeah, here we are. So we're gonna launch our attacks. First attack here does not go well though. We retreat. We're up by 1, and we have our HQ in battle mode. The Confederates are in maneuver, so we're up by 2 technically. I'm just double checking all the attack modifiers. The reason why this division here has got +1 is because the core integrity. We managed to bring up one of its adjacent core units, and it does have the battle star as well. So that's what's going on there. Just double checking the numbers and all that. Let me fast forward here. Yeah. So we roll, we get a retreat. No casualty. We retreat to the left here. And then we start an attack with one of the other units that have the battle star. This time it's going to be dead even. So as a tie, the counter attack, we roll a little bit better. It was a retreat, but there's no rooms to retreat because they're surrounded, so it gets changed to a blown, or at least I think that's what happened there. So we've succeeded. If you see, if you click the information icon on the score card on the bottom right, you can see the hexes which are currently achieving the win condition. So I showed up there for a little bit, but that was just me double checking. We've basically already achieved our strategic win condition, and all we need to do now is just hold the line, which is going to be very simple. As I said before in the previous video, the AI can't tell when a player has achieved a strategic condition, because what you're going to see here is that the AI think is winning. It's up by 1. So it's going to just sit around and not do anything, which is the opposite of what happens when it's behind, in which case the last turn they will just commit full attacks across the entire front to try to get something done, which usually results in them getting slaughtered. But in this case, they won't do that, and they just let us be, let us sit on our win condition, and then we win. That's basically it. Nothing else happens after this. It's a very bloodless fight. Longstreet gets deployed now, I believe. And I'm just double checking the wind conditions here, make sure I don't screw anything up. And all you're going to see me do here is just redeploy a couple of divisions. I'm trying to just pretend that, okay, what if it was a real player? What would they do? I would definitely be trying to maneuver forces to come back and try to interdict the railroad at any point if possible. So all I do here is deploy divisions across the ridges that are right behind the Confederate lines to stop them in roads in defensive terrain far away from the railroad. But of course, the AI doesn't do anything. So there's that. I'll skip towards the end here. So I've re-maneuvered some of our forces back to shore up the line, the main line. But yeah, the AI won't do anything, so it doesn't really matter. Hopefully I pan the camera up in the replay here to show you our disposition. Yeah, so you can see here, we've got 3 divisions spread out all across the top side of the map. They're all blocking all the roads that lead towards the railroad area. And yeah, we're not going to attack, so we just pass it off. Yep, double check the win condition. And we're gone. That's it. So yeah, we win. Simple as that. Once again, playing 2-player, this scenario specifically, I think it would be far more interesting than Chancellorsville. Definitely be far more interesting than Fredericksburg. But yeah. So next scenario is Chattanooga. Played on the same map, but played on a different part of the map, which didn't see much play in this scenario.